Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're checking out a track from Axe, Chochi Smoke, and Kushgodsabs titled Company. And if we switch over to here, this video that we're going to be watching today, we're going to be listening through the music from start to finish, but it's shot by Street Shark. Right, Street Shark, yep. New track off of Bando Waves 3 called Company Prod by Pario Beats, shot by Street Shark. Enjoy your 420 from the Bando Boys. Awesome. So we're going to listen through this track from start to finish, and yeah, we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Oh, that's nice and loud off the bat, isn't it? Okay. Wonder where we're going with this. Street Shark presents Kushgodsabs, Chochi Smoke. Yeah. This is kind of like a sort of almost video gamey kind of synth vibe to it with the intro. Nice bit of filtering there to kind of lead us in there. Oh, nice pan vocals.
Put him out his misery, hanging out the window with some hollows, about to write the system. If it ain't about the band, no, it don't mean shit to me. Nickname, I need a misery, let some company, it let some company.
I love it. I dig it. Nice production with the 808s and the drums. Confident performance from the vocalist in charge here. Yeah, you don't really want to screw with him, do you? You don't really want to screw with him or his company. Nice that the drums kind of fade out a little bit here, allow more space for the mid and higher elements. Smoking on some misery in your lungs, something company. Talking about a Martian, not caring less for humans. I'll talk more about the story as we go along, but fascinating wordplay, so some really evocative imagery here. And just in general, like, it's very very presentable and it sounds professional. It's been mixed and mastered well. Got that instantiated theme here. Put him out his misery, hanging out the window with some hollows, about to write the system. If it ain't about the band, no, it don't mean shit to me. Nickname, I need a misery, it let some company, it let some company. I like how the chorus has been done. I was expecting there to be a bit more width with the vocals and the chorus, considering that he's, you know, the first rapper that we had. With great flow, by the way. Great flow. It's just a very smooth experience because of that, as opposed to a clear distinction between that chorus and the verse.
I'm a chop of misery because I love some company. Pussy ass nigga try me, he'll be under the streets. I'm that man, I'm with the bando. So if it ain't bando, why would I think about it? I be smoking all this gas, got me high just like a mountain. I don't wanna talk to niggas, many lame, many pussies. I'll rewrite their history quickly. And I got the shooters, they with me. Who really fucking with me?
I like the development of the piano parts in here. I know I should be focusing on the modulated sort of vocals of the second vocalist here. I'm not sure who is Chochi Smoke and Kushgodsabs, and I'm kind of scared to say which is which. I don't want to get it wrong. Both have distinctly different vocal styles, but I love the development of those pianos there. I think it's a great little bit of extra interest there in the accompaniment. You know, because typically with rap and hip hop, you have the vocals and then you have everything else. Excellent work, not just sort of copying, pasting what you've had before. Especially when you take away those drums for a bit, you kind of need to kind of give and take a sense of equilibrium with the overall arrangement. Oh, it's just short. Back into that hook. And that's it, I suppose. You know, that is the song. I mean, it's great. Like, does it continue like this? Do we just have the rest of the song just fade out black on the screen? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not telling them how to shoot their video or anything like that. I'm not that knowledgeable about that side of things. Okay. It's interesting to have this amount of, you know, this amount of company at the end. Usually you just have the track fade out. But they've decided, you know, Chochi Smoke, Kushgodsabs, they've, you know, and everyone else involved, they've gone for this more sort of like focus on the instrumental side of things. Maybe they were meant to be sort of like credits here or something like that. No, we just got the fade out here. That's fine, you know, and that's it. Damn, that was smooth. We'll see if we can go back a little bit. A little bit back here to Street Shark presents Kushgodsabs. Of course, if go out a little bit. Just gonna think about this for a moment and we'll get into the conclusion. Because this is my conclusion of the track Company with Chochi Smoke and Kushgodsabs. Shot by Street Shark. Dope. Yeah, just I don't want to say too much about it because I'm not as knowledgeable, but I can tell there was a lot of work put into the video, and they did a great job editing and sort of arranging it. Well done. With regards to the song and what I think that the track was about, I was hearing something, especially in the choruses, on the line of, if it ain't worth, like, if there's no bag involved, it ain't worth sort of shit to me. I imagine that maybe this can kind of sort of, when you compare it to verses and everything like that, it's all about the business. You know, like, it might be a terrible time getting through it, and I might be struggling to cope with what's going on, but as long as I'm able to continue going, making my way, and as long as nobody steps up to me or fronts to me, everything will be fine. That's the kind of vibe I get from this, you know. There's a lot to take in on a first listen. I think to get all the little intricacies there from both verses will take a little bit of a while. But that's fine. We'd play a few replays. So again, like, this is one of those tracks where I think the musical motif is good enough, as well as the production and the general vocals themselves, to warrant multiple listens if you're into that kind of stuff. I mean, in regards to the vocals, you know, both Chochi Smoke and, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Kushgodsabs, they're great rappers, you know. The first one was more sort of straightforward with their flow. It didn't have a lot of coloration. It was more of a rhythmic, percussive kind of performance. Whereas the second one had a bit of that vocal modulation there, that metatune stuff going in there to be more colorful, more sort of synthy, and more like another melodic instrument than anything else, you know. I think there's a great chemistry between both of them in the mix. You know, I know that one of the musicians here handled both the chorus and the verse parts, and there was like a feature maybe it was Kushgodsabs that did the feature, but either way, you know, both are vocalists which performed well. The technique was solid. The flow was great for the most part. I don't really think they needed to do much to change their performances. You know, this is my first impression with them, so I'm relatively happy with it so far. And I hope they can continue to collaborate in the future and I'll have a lot of fun doing it. The structuring with this track was your typical instrumental outro and intro with the kind of the hook, verse B, final chorus kind of vibe to it. We had an extended outro instrumentally, but that's fine. The instruments here, you had that really strong 808 bass there with the sidechained drums and those kind of trap beats going on there with the kind of like, how do I say this, kind of the chiptune, not chiptune, like the old school sort of like synths there, like old kind of like an N64 kind of, not N64, like Super NES synthesizers going on there. Kind of give me like Legend of Zelda vibes or something like that. Which I think is a fun element to have included here. I'm not sure if that was a conscious decision or if they just like the sound of it or whatever, but either way, it's fine. It was relatively complex in parts, especially with the additional piano parts and the intensity there, I think. Rather than affect the dynamic range of it too much just so that everything's nice and tight in the mix and mastering process, they just wanted to add more into it, like those additional sort of piano lines. But that synth melody was repeated for the vast majority throughout, and it was a nice theme which looped well and was interesting to listen to right up until the end. I think part of what helped this track a lot is that it was under 3 minutes. Obviously, the sweet spot with singles nowadays is that 2 to 3 minute mark, and if you can get away with it with an interlude that's meaningful, a fourth minute, you can't really go past that unless you really know what you're doing. I think for, you know, Chochi Smoke and Kushgodsabs and everyone else involved, I think this was the correct length of time. They both got to do their part and spit their truth, and at the end of the day, it was interesting to listen to, and I enjoyed my time with it. Even though if not all of it was particularly, you know, it's not like I'm suitably, there was some heavy stuff in there, so I'm not super stoked for them to hear that stuff, but you know, man, I'm just being, you know, and music doesn't need to make you happy, right? Production, recording, mixing, mastering of it, you know, it was great. It sounded commercial. It sounded like commercial in the sense that it's ready for release, you know. The rap and hip-hop game nowadays is oversaturated, and there's a lot of people who are trying to do similar things. And I think part of why I appreciated that synth layer especially is because it was slightly different than even a lot of the lo-fi stuff people are doing. Sometimes the point of difference can be the instruments that you use. That can often be enough, just a breath of fresh air for a listener who's unfamiliar with what you do, to be like, oh, I know I like the rapping and I like that idea of a loop being developed throughout, but not being over sort of complicated. That makes it sort of memorable, you know, like, and again, especially if we've got the rapping and the hook was catchy as well. But yeah, it'll be cool to see what these guys do in future. I wish them the best of luck. Definitely, yeah, this track was ready for release, and I hope they find success with it. But effectively, this was my review of Chochi Smoke and Kushgodsabs, a company. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.